Tuesday, 6 November 2018. Mathematics Paper 1, Non-Calculator, Higher Tier. Answer all questions. You must show all your working. 80 marks for this paper. Question number 1. Work out the value of 3 to the power 7 times 3 to the minus 2 divided by 3 to the power 3. We're going to be using these laws of indices. A to the minus m is equals to 1 over a to the m, and vice versa. And also a to the m times a to the n, you add the powers m plus n because the base is the same, a. And a to the m divided by a to the n is a to the m minus n. The base is the same, so we subtract the powers. So we need these rules to do this question. So I've got the rules on the top right-hand side there. So 3 to the power 7 times 3 to the minus 2, we're going to use this rule. When you multiply them, you add their powers. So 7 plus minus 2, 7 plus minus 2, plus and the minus becomes a minus, so it becomes 7 minus 2, which gives you 5. And we have divide by 3 to the power 3. When you divide by 3 to the power 3, you can take the 3 to the power 3 to the top. It becomes 3 to the minus 3. And we are using this rule. 1 over 3 to the power 3 is 3 to the minus 3. So we are using this rule. So it becomes 3 to the 5 times 3 to the minus 3. We're going to use this rule again. A to the m times a to the n, which means you add their powers. So minus 3 and minus plus 5. So 5 minus 3, which gives you 2. And that gives you 3 squared. 3 squared is the same as 3 times 3, which gives you 9. Because it wants us to work out the value. So the value means we have to get it 3 squared to get 9. Question number 2. V squared is equals to u squared plus 2as. V stands for final velocity, u stands for initial velocity, a stands for acceleration, s stands for displacement. And you see that's a formula which is used in mechanics. So it says work out the value of v. So we want to find v. We are given u, we're given a, and we're given s. So we first of all write down the equation and we sub in the value. U is 12, so we sub in for u, we put 12 and square it. And 12 squared is 12 times 12 is 144. We write the 2. We sub in for a. A is minus 3. And we sub in for s. S is 18. And the way to do this, you do 2 times 18 first. I put them in the yellow. 2 times 18 gives you 36. And then 36 times 3 is 108. But because it's minus 3 and a plus here, it becomes minus 108. So the 144 minus 108. That gives you 36. But we want to find v, not v squared. So the inverse of v squared of squared is square root. So find the square root of 36. And when you find the square root, there will be two answers, plus 6 and minus 6. Because 6 times 6 is 36, and minus 6 times minus 6 is 36. So you got two answers, plus 6 and minus 6. For part B, make S the subject of the formula V squared equals to U squared plus 2AS. To make S the subject, we want to put S on the left-hand side and everything on the right. So we can start by removing U squared. Imagine this U squared is your shoes. You want to remove the shoes first. So it's a plus U squared. When we take it to the left side, it becomes minus. So it becomes V squared minus U squared. It's 2 times AS. We treat AS as 1. So we treat 2a as one thing. It's 2a times s if we treat it like that. So we want to remove the 2a together. And the inverse of times is divide. So it becomes v squared minus u squared divided by 2a. So that's your answer. And s is left on its own. So answer is v squared minus u squared over 2a. So the way you do it is I treat u squared as your shoes. You remove the shoes, and treat 2a as your socks. You remove the socks for after. So that's the complete answer for that question. Question number 3. A bonus of £2,100 is shared by 10 people who work for a company. 40% of the bonus is shared equally between 3 managers. The rest of the bonus is shared equally between 7 salesmen. One of the salesmen says, if the bonus is shared equally between all 10 people, I will get 25% more money. Is the salesman correct? You must show how you get your answer. So we start by finding the amount for 3 managers. 40% of the bonus is shared equally between 3 managers. So what does 40% of the amount is? What's 40%? So we do 40 divided by 100 times the total amount. And that gives us 840. So 840 pounds goes for the 3 managers. How much? Find the 7 salesmen's share of the bonus. The rest is equally shared between 7 salesmen. So what is left? So 2,100 minus 840. Remove what the managers got. It gives you 1,260. And this 1,260 pounds is going to be shared among 7 salesmen. So we want to find the bonus amount each salesman gets. So 1,260 pounds divided by 7, it gives you 180. So each salesperson gets 180 pounds for each salesman. So what we want to do next is to compare what a single salesman gets under each scheme. So there's two ways. So under the first, we can work out 25% because he says, I will get 25% more. So if we have 25%, 25 divided by 100 times 1,260, that gives us 315. And if we have 1,470 minus 1,260, that gives us 210. Or you can divide 2,100. That means the total amount, 2,100 divided by the 10 people. That gives you 210. What percentage is 210? So we want to find 210 divided by the amount you're sharing for the 7 people times 100. That gives you 16.7%. And 16.7% is not the same as 25%. Question number 4. It would take 120 minutes to fill a swimming pool using water from 5 taps. How many minutes will it take to fill the pool if only 3 of the taps are used? So we have minutes on one side, taps on the other side. 120 minutes and 5 taps. To get to 1 tap, we divide by 5. You get 1 tap. So if you divide by 5 on the right hand side, you times by 5 on the left. 120 times 5 will give you 600. That means 1 tap will take 600 minutes. Now, if you times by 3, 1 times 3 is 3 on the right. You times by 3 on the right, you divide by 3 on the left. 600 divided by 3, it would be 200. So that would mean it will be 200 minutes. Part B, state one assumption you made in working out your answer to part A. Here, I've got a few assumptions, and you can just choose one of them and write down. One of them you can write, let's pick the first one. Taps are running at the same speed. So all the taps are running at the same speed to make it, for it to work. And another one, you can say the amount of water is the same in the same time. That means the taps are running at the same speed, and that all the taps take equal amount of time to fill the pool. So that's what, those are different assumptions, which they mean the same thing, and those are just different ways to write the assumption. Like all taps produce the same amount of water. Question number 5. A plane travels at a speed of 213 miles per hour. Work out an estimate for the number of seconds the plane takes to travel 1 mile. We look at the formula I've put there to work out that time. Time, you cover time, I put it in orange, is distance divided by speed. You need to remember this formula. Sausages don't talk. That's how I remember the formula. Speed is distance divided by time, and time is distance divided by speed. Now, it says 1 hour. So we have 230 miles per hour. 1 hour is the same as 60 minutes times 60 seconds. So that gives you 3,600 seconds. And the speed is 213 miles per hour. So we have to change that to miles per second. So we divide by 3,600. So now we want to calculate the time using the formula. Time is distance is 1, because it says travel for 1 mile. Distance is 1 divided by the speed, which is 213 over 3,600. To divide, we change the divide into times and then flip the second fraction. So it becomes 1 times 3,600 over 213. But it wants us to get an estimate. To get an estimate, we round the 2,213, we round it to approximate it to 200. So it's an estimate, so 213, and this sign means approximately 200. So now we're going to use 200 instead. So the time is 3,600 divided by 200. The 2 zeros will cross out, and you have 36 divided by 2, which is 18. So it's approximately 18 seconds. Part B, is your answer to part A an underestimate or an overestimate? Give a reason for your answer. If we did not estimate, we use the real answer, the real numbers, we will use 3,600 divided by 213. But for an estimate, we are using 3,600 divided by 200. So we have made the denominator, it's gone from a big number to a small number. So when you divide by a small number, the answer is bigger. So it's an overestimate. Question number 6. Solve the simultaneous equation. To solve the simultaneous equation, I will make the coefficient in front of y the same, so that when I add the two equations, 1 and 2, y would become 0. It will disappear. So in equation 2, y it has 3. So I want to make the y in equation 1 to have 3. So I'll multiply everything in y in equation 1 by 3. So it'll be 5 times 3, y, 1y times 3, and 21 times 3. So 3 times 5 is 15x. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 21 is 63. So equation 1 now is 15x plus 3y equals to 63. And then I'll write equation 2 underneath, which is x minus 3y equals to 9. Now I can add the two equations. 15x plus x is 16x, plus 3y plus minus 3y is 0. 63 plus 9, 72. So that means 16x is equals to 72. Because it's times 16, we take it to the right-hand side, it becomes divided by 16. So x is 72 divided by 16. And to divide that, we can find half of 72 is 36, half of 16 is 8. And then we divide 36 divided by 4 is 9, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. And 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So that means x is equals to 4.5. How do we find y? We take that answer for x, which is 9/2, and substitute it in the first equation. Replace x there. So the 9/2 for x comes and replaces the x in that first equation. So we would have 9/2 goes there, or we put it here. 5 times 9/2 plus y equals to 21. It's 5 times 9 is 45/2. We take it to the right side, it becomes minus 45/2. So y is 21 minus 45/2. 45 divided by 2 is the same as 22.5. So 21 minus 22.5 is minus 1.5, or minus 3/2. So your two answers are x is 4.5 and y is minus 1.5. And you can always check if it is correct by substituting x is 4.5 and y is minus 1.5. Evaluate that left-hand side. It should give you 9. That's the way to check if it is correct. Question number 7. The diagram shows a square ABCD with sides of length 20 centimeters. It also shows a semicircle and an arc of a circle. AB is the diameter of the semicircle. AC is an arc of a circle with center B. Show that area of the shaded region divided by area of square is equals to pi/8. So in this question, what I have done is, you can see in yellow is the semicircle. And I've put the dotted blue line to complete this circle. So you can see that first small circle. Now you can also see the bigger circle outside. So the plan is, we want to find the area of the shaded region, which is the gray part there, and divide it by the area of the square. So these are the formulae that we're going to use. So we're going to use this formula. Area of a circle is pi radius squared, but we want to find a semicircle, which is half of it. So it's pi radius squared divided by 2. So that's the formula we would use for finding area of a semicircle. An area of a quarter circle, we have a circle, we divide it into 4. So it's pi radius squared divided by 4. That gives you the area of a quarter circle. So we're going to use these two formulae. So first, we find area of semicircle. Pi times the radius. The radius is 10 because 20 divided by 20 is the diameter. Half of 20 is 10. So pi times the radius squared divided by 2. Pi times 10 squared divided by 2 is 50. 10 squared is 100. Divided by 2 is 50. So the area of the semicircle is 50 pi. And that semicircle is the yellow area there. 50 pi. Now we want to find area of the quarter circle. The quarter circle is all of that there. So we do pi times the radius is 20. Pi times 20 squared divided by 4, because there's 4 of them. 4 of the quarter, that makes the circle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we want to find only a quarter. So divide by 4, it would be 20 squared is 400, divided by 4 is 100, so it's 100 pi. So what we have to do now is find shaded area and the area of the square, and this is the next step. The shaded area is given by the area of the quarter circle minus the area of semicircle. So area of the quarter circle is pi times 20 squared over 4, which is 100 pi, which we have found earlier. 400 pi divided by 4 is 100 pi. And then area of the semicircle, pi times 10 squared over 2, which we had 100 pi over 2, and that gives us 50 pi. So 100 minus 50 is 50 pi. And then the area of a square, 20 times 20, gives you 400. Now we put it now in the, to show it, we have area of the shaded region is 50 pi divided by area of the square is 400. So the zeros would cancel. 5 would go divide by 5, 1. 40 divided by 5 is 8. So you get pi over 8. So as required to show. So to quickly round up on this question 7, find the area of the semicircle, find the area of the quarter circle, subtract them, and then put them in the fraction and simplify.